Let's get this party started. That's what I'm talking about. All right, I need to take a break. I'm swimming in a PowerPoint right now, and it is time to finally take a look at some charts and see what's moving, if anything's moving. Let's sort of see what the day gave us. I like to at least go to our favorite here, and I just want to see the daily real quick. Let me see what's shaking over here. All right, so let's see. We got buying coming in. Yep, not bad. So far for the day, not a big move here at all, but 0.48 for the day. We lost. So same thing. Whatever we lost yesterday, we have already gained it back. So that's a good sign, a good start to the day. Of course, we can get rid of this guy for now. Actually, you know what? Let's say for the daily, let's see what we got. What are we actually looking at here? Pull this up. Come on now. Don't fight me on this. There you go. All right. Well, of course, I like my patterns. So some people aren't pattern traders. I like them. It's one more thing to look at. They do tend to play out fairly well, in my opinion. Not always, but you do get ideas for breakouts at least, which is nice. It does give you sort of a range, within a trending period. So, it is good. Now, this would be a bull flag based off of the pole, the flag pole, right? And then you have consistent trading, sloping downward, right? So it's sort of compressing in. The larger moves are getting smaller and smaller and smaller, and you're sort of working your way into an apex, which for the pattern would be continuation up. Of course, like always, the second I go live, everything breaks. so we got a little lag. It's all right. We fight through it. That's what we do. That's what we do every time. Things will get better one day. Stick with me. They'll eventually get better. I need to. I don't know. It's everything's a mess. I'm working on it. I'd like to get off this chart though, if I could. That would be nice. I did have a few things I wanted to pull up. At least some things that I was looking at earlier, based off of different price action moves from earlier in the day, yesterday, and of course throughout the week. So I did have this I wanted to pull up here and just get an update personally for myself, just to see what is shaking. But something is completely destroying everything right now, and that's never good. So charts don't load, and cursors take too long to get from one side of the screen to the other. But it's all right. It's all right. It's good. It's good. Life is good. Oh, by the way, it's Valentine's. Well, or it's the end of Valentine's, I should say. Maybe Pacific time zone, and let's say mountain. Let's not forget about our mountain time zone friends. All right, they do exist. It's a small portion of the country. Unity. All right. Hello. So nice to have people to talk to. That's fantastic. I've been practicing just talking to the wall, which is what I think I've harnessed that fairly well. So since it's a nice trait to have in your back pocket. Now this is the wrong chart to pull up on screen because I do know I've got some feedback. These are the wrong candles for a stream, so I'm only going to keep this up real quick. I just wanted to get a quick update on a few of these movers that I was looking at. KMD, EOS, BNB, and Dash were all fairly big movers. You can see the moves that we're looking at here. And then the pullbacks, if we get them. Now, of course, we're still fighting through the lag, but it's all right. It's fine. All right, so finally this is loaded up somewhat. So you can see that the Komodo on a daily, this is a good setup right here. You have this long period of sort of ranging out. Now it's in an uptrend. You do have higher highs and higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, and then this right here was the failure, right? So you wanted to have a higher high than this previous high. Now, if we take a look at that shooting star on let's say an hourly chart, and it appears to be just a giant wick, even on the hourly, and not consistent trading for the day, then we might void this altogether. So this is why it's still a possibility for a setup. So you're sort of looking at two things. You're looking at a double top, but you are also looking at a failure if you're playing this as good price action. For now, I'm looking at this move here, and I'm looking at the pullback to try to capture a buy going long on there. If everything else seems to play out the way that we're looking for. So that's for Komodo. For EOS, it's a similar situation. You have range trading where not much has happened in quite a long time. You had this big drop coming down. You worked your way back up, so you got rid of that, that gap there, that big hole, and then you sort of went sideways for a little while. This range right here in particular, or at least on this upside resistance, was very hard to get over. Finally broke through it. You can see not only did we break through, we retested it. So that's what I like to see is when you flip strong resistance and turn it into support, then I'm looking at that next leg. Right, so taken from the bottom of the range to after the breakout, I'm looking for a pullback into this zone here. And again, this would be another long setup that I'm just keeping my eyes on it. Just because the box there doesn't mean the orders are in just yet. There can still be time to get in on those, and I'd like to spend a little bit more time than the quick few minutes that I have, but I'll have much more time tomorrow and of course over the weekend. So Unity is all good. All right, that's what I like to see, Unity. That's fantastic. Next one, Dash. So Dash is another interesting setup over here. A fairly significant downtrend on the daily, coming off of these highs. Not really that long ago. You're talking about December, so 2 months, and it was a bit of a slow bleed. Finding that the slow bleed, bottoming out on an area of previous action, only coming up just a little bit just to come right back down. But this was the move that caught my attention. You had a nice big move here into another big move. So you had 7 days or so. You made pretty significant gains from that area. Again, looking for a pullback. Now we do have heavy resistance we'll be swinging into once we get back into this zone. And of course, there's other historical data, which is where this aqua line comes from here. And that's more resistance that we have to deal with. Now, we did close above it during that daily, and then we gave it right back. But that type of retracement off of this move is expected, so I'm not upset about that. That's more like a healthy retracement than anything else. Now, if it's going to continue in that newer local upward trend, that remains to be seen. But I would like to see what happens, what kind of reaction we get, at least off the 5, which we almost hit, and then the 618 if it does get down to that level. Now, BNB, unless you're under a rock, BNB has been cruising for quite a while now. So if we go back to November 28th, so you're talking, all of December, let alone all of January, and so far all of February have been very good for BNB. Now these pullbacks are, you know, measured. It's a decent pullback right from this zone. Now the first one was a little tricky, right? This was actually very interesting because the pullback on it was almost 100%. So coming from the low on that pullback, I think we hit the 886, which is very deep. But we're able to slowly grind out of it, and you know, you get these little moves with just a little pullback, little pullback, little pullback, sort of riding the wave up. So on the larger scale, of course, this is the daily. On the larger scale, you do have, you know, a good local trend working its way up, finding resistance a few days ago, and it did top out, or not top out, it did bottom out just on the 236, which I was thinking was going to have a much deeper retrace, especially after such a large move, similar to this retrace, right? A large retrace down and then work its way back up. So these are targets that are set. Volume has been consistently getting better and better. So price up, volume up, generally means continuation to go up. So we'll have to play that one out. XLM, this was brought to my attention. One of my buddies, Cool, he said, "Hey, take a look at this," and he was looking at a couple EMAs. Now, with XLM, what I saw real quick was, you know, obviously you have this massive zone right here where just nothing's happening. So it's a big giant channel and nothing's going on. This is of course the area of interest. This very heavy drop off that has seemed to, at least for now, go a little sideways. So these aren't very big moves here, not for daily candles. We're looking at a 2% gain so far for the day. But I need this to do more. But it has been on my watch list since, let's see, right in this zone, right about here. We had a large move down, so just about the first week of January. Now for this coin, you know, 4%, at least for the last, you know, few months of trading, is a big enough move for me to watch. This looked like a lot of people that, you know, maybe we found that area, right? Maybe we had a little bit of a double bottom, and maybe we're finally going to reverse course, and then this happened. So once that catches my attention, I'm looking for new lower lows, at least in the local trend, which is what we have here. So when we go sideways long enough, and we work our way into a position where we have the opposite move, right, a larger move up to sort of break some of this previous new range history, then I'll be looking at what's shaking. But for now, it's just on the watch list as something to consider that I need to, you know, pay a little bit more attention to. But I want to pull up the this guy right here. I want to pull up the trading room scanner. Let me refresh this real quick. I want to see what's moved in the last day. At least, you know, bigger moves, 20% moves in that ballpark. Let me refresh this real quick because, of course, things are getting a little wonky over there, but that's all right. we're gonna forgive technology, even though I'm an avid fan of technology and it fails me time and time again. But that's okay. I'm all right with that. While we're looking at the gray screen of nothing, I hope you had a good day, a good Valentine's. You know, maybe you got some flowers, maybe you got drunk, maybe you went to work. Who knows? But hopefully it was a better day than most. How about that? And let's hope that tomorrow is better than yesterday or today. Come on, load. I'm running out of things to talk to myself about. But I am currently working on a few things in the background, so that's good. That's those things will be ready very soon. We're gonna be doing an RSI, yeah, like a we're gonna talk RSI, all things RSI from beginning to end. What it is, what it does, what you can see with it. You know, all the fun stuff. And then we're going to have sort of how to use it properly. We're going to use it in tandem with the RSI scanner. We're going to be looking for, you know, different opportunities that can arise. Charts that you don't need to pull up, charts that are of interest that you do want to pull up, all that good stuff. All of the good things. All right, so we're finally loaded up here. Jeez. Okay, so let's see, 7 days. I want to see what moved today. So I'm just going to go to the daily, last 24 hours. I'll put this over into peak gains. Once we get there, it truly is amazing how slow this is. It could just be OBS it's just too much of a resource. I don't know. I don't know. I would like it to work much quicker, but it is well, we could see what's okay, well, there we go. Now we have more problems. Oh dear Lord, don't do this to me live. What are you doing? Ay. Alright, well, we're gonna reload this in the background because that's all we can do, and we're gonna go back to the happy charts that are currently here. So I could pull up the watch list. Let's see, off the top of my head, I know we did have a couple movers today. I'm trying to remember what they were. Of course, I don't. So we're going to have to scroll through the old-fashioned way. Oh, see? See how well this is respecting that old pitchfork from who knows how long ago. Maybe we should take a look at this. Let's zoom out a little bit. This is always interesting. I don't like showing these charts because they're really messy. I like to have clean charts, but sometimes, you know, when you start to get into the mind of a madman, they get really, really ugly, and you know, I don't like to share the ugliness. All right, so anyway, it's not a true pitchfork, but nonetheless, it is basically a channel that I put on here that I wanted to see. Things started to get very interesting in this zone, especially after the giant Bart. So that's when this made its way on here, and it is actually still holding up fairly well. That interior channel down is the most interesting aspect. So this would be your mean line. Of course, you know, my color schemes aren't good for most people, so just we'll call it the middle line. One of the red lines has acted as an area of resistance over the last month. So even coming up and finally closing over it, we gave it right back, and then it was right back to resistance. You know, just this whole time, you're talking day after day after day after day of resistance. Swung back down, found support on the lower red, only to find resistance again on the mean, only to find support again on the lower, and then smash through the mean, smash through the upper, right, of this center line, and then end up closing at the top of the range. Right? Very interesting stuff. And now we are just, you know, we're just riding that range down. Now, mind you, this pitchfork-ish channel, this goes back to November, mid-November. So cool stuff, you know, things that you don't always look to put on a chart, but when you're not goofing around, but when you're spending enough time with something, you start to see other patterns arise out of nowhere. So they like to just keep those up, maybe on a side chart. I don't really chart Coinbase all that often, so that's a chart I can leave that on there and not really have to come back to. This is an old Ethereum chart, actually from Finex. This had some ideas similar in channel, but you can see how long ago that started. Now look at the current action, and look how well that's respected. I mean, you're talking let's see. So I would have put this on the chart. That's my first anchor back in May, and my second anchor in July. Right, so that's a long time ago, right? So this very old, well-respected trend is back in action currently. Today it's in action. So that's cool stuff. When you see things like that, so like I might pull up a chart, and I do it to myself all the time, but I might end up getting so sucked into the hourly or the 4 hour where I don't go back enough in history, and I've corrected that. But when I first started, I would zoom in, and I would only look at just this, thinking that going back a few days in history was good enough, and it's just not. Well, at least the way I found, it's just not the way it works. I mean, these are all somehow related in some magical way of trading, but these do give you an idea of what's happening. Now, when it happens over here, and you say, all right, well, this is junk. This ain't really doing nothing for me. And that is true to an extent. That doesn't mean that these trend lines don't come into play again, and they are right here. I mean, that's kind of undeniable. Right, the perfect area of resistance. Again, a perfect area of resistance. So this is a long-term trend line I'll be waiting to break. And when we do break it, I'll be looking for the retest, and then, more than likely be going long with it. Ricky Thompson, do you go live at the same time every night? Ricky, I used to, which was, for me, it was midnight Central, which is kind of where we're at now. But it depends. I've been getting busy lately with a lot of other things that I'm focusing time on. So, and I'm getting crunched during the days. So I'm trying to squeeze in a few extra things at night. So I have slipped a little bit on the midnight broadcast. But yeah, in the future I will have a time that makes sense. So Theta, Joe S. I think you want Theta. You put Theta, but I'm guessing Theta. Theta BTC, I would imagine. If not, you can let me know. Yeah, Theta was moving for sure. Definitely got shrunk. Man. Unity, you are too much. Let me see here. Let me get the cursor back. There we go. All right, so Theta. Yeah, Theta was fantastic. Now, this was, I believe Theta was the cup and handle inside the cup and handle. But let's take a closer look. On the daily, Theta is just crushing it. So let's see what we got here as far as movements. The first play I was looking at was the handle retracement, which would have been this guy right down here. So let's get an approximate low. Let's pull this over and let's see if that retracement was what we wanted. And it was. All right, so that's perfect. So the 618 retracement off the cup and handle. Now that's a deep handle, but it is crypto. So crypto, we do get some deeper retracements than let's say the traditional market, where you might be looking at 382. A 5 would be a bit deep, but we are not in that market. So targets we'd be looking at, let's say we swung that down to about the 618, and then we took a closer look here. So look at that. I mean, just absolutely killed it. All right, so the 1618 hit, absolutely no problem. You could see it was just about resistance, stalled out a little bit for another pullback, came back up, stopped it out one more time until we blasted through it, and now we're doing the same thing at the 2618. So the 2618 is definitely showing an area of resistance. Now this was the target. This was the original profit target. So based off the cup and handle and the retracement is where the green box came from. And that's a good trade right there. That's a really good trade. So let's see. Let's take a look at the trade. Let's see what it was here. All right, that's approximate because the listen, the cursor does wild things. All right, when when things aren't when things aren't proper, I press the button and I gotta wait a couple seconds. So at 82% gains on that cup and handle. All right, now it's more than just a cup and handle, and it's an ugly cup and handle. So don't throw me in the fire because of that pattern. But it is what caught my attention. Now it is ugly. It is a very ugly cup and handle, but you can't deny from edge to edge with the 618 retrace, right, and a 2618 target. Can't tell me that didn't play out perfectly. Not only did you have one chance to sell, you had two chances to sell, and then in the last 3 days, you had 3 more chances to sell. So if you weren't able to get your sell orders the first 2 times it was in, you had 3 more days, and this trading right here blasted through it. So now you got to start taking a look at, what's the next move for Theta. Now I'm gonna sort of discount this wick right here. Not sure what happened that day, but it looks really intense. So we want to see, is Theta done? Let's take a look over here. So this is not a good indication of continuation. We have broken through. Now this current one is set up at 70-30, but on a 14. So 89 was the initial blast, right, through our 70 line, right? So that's okay. That's good. But then the next time we came through, we only hit a 77. So you could see you made a lower high, right? You weren't able to. So that's called a swing failure. So by failing to do what it was supposed to do, it shows this. So this means momentum is working its way down. So it's slowing down. Now, as a leading indicator, it's trying to show you what's happening before price action dictates what's going to happen. So this would be a fairly good signal for me personally, and maybe look for some confluence in another area of exhaustion. And if that is the case, and this was my target, I would just be in and out. I don't know that I would let anything ride and shoot for the 3618. I'm 82%. You kidding me? I'm happy with that. There should be nobody who's unhappy with that. And if you are, I don't know what to tell you. There's nothing I could tell you about that. 20% gains are good, let alone 4 times that. Let's see, KMD trading app chart BTC. All right, so there's a lot happening right there. You can break that down into something I can understand. I will gladly do whatever you're asking. Now you're asking KMD, so we'll pull that up. We took a look at that earlier, so let's pull up the Bitcoin pair on Binance. Let's see what's shaking on this. I was looking at this longer move down here, right? So we had a couple big moves up with a nice retracement, right? But then we failed again, failed to make another high right in this zone. So another failure, but we had a breakout from the failure. So we'll just take it back a little bit. So, right, we had something like that. And then we had the breakout and the retest. So another good move right here, breakout, retest. Another big impulse move up. And then here, we took a full retrace. So now you got to do something like this. And you got to say to yourself, okay, well now we got a problem. So now we're looking at a horizontal that's telling us, all right, not only was it the retest, we broke up, we came down, it's a full 100% retrace. So everything you got, you lost. Now in the longer term, you made another high, right? Higher high, higher high, higher high. So what's happening right now, right? So far, failure to make another high. So now you can do something similar to this. This would give you an idea for a breakout scenario. Now in the current move, we could be looking at this guy right here. So I would want to at least get an idea on what we're looking at as far as from the swing low, which is this puppy, or at least close to it. Again, don't worry about the lag, right? Just pretend it's not there, and then you'll be fine. So 43% move. We're on the daily chart, and we're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 7 days of trading got us up. On the 8th day is when we made a couple more percentage points. So we could do something like this for now, and then for this I'll put the magnet on just to get that bottom. Try to get that bottom. Jeez, you gotta be kidding me. Alright, so let's pull this over. Let me clean this up because it's a mess. Alright, so on the current move, and remember now we're very close to a double top. We got some areas of interest down all the way down here, which are going to be lining up with probably close to an 886, at least within that ballpark. All right, so on the retrace down here, we've lost a 382. All right, 382 would have been 2159. So expecting somewhere, if we go by market structure, right, you're looking at a previous high as an area of interest, right? So this zone right here has me looking, right? And that lines up pretty similar with the 618. So you could be looking at targets around the 5 and the 618, something like this. And that could be an area of interest to play the pullback here. And then that's an idea. Now remember, you're going to have now heavy resistance on these body tops because that is your double top on bodies, right? So for the non-wick traders, they don't care about the wicks, right? They only go by bodies. I'm not saying I'm either one of those, but it's something to know. It's something to be aware of if you're trading that for the long. If you look at the longer trend, you know, like we were saying before, we got a higher high, a higher high. That was a failure, right? But you do have a low and a higher low. So you could be looking at targets set up in a trend similar to that. So if you were to at least take, let's take the, not the body lows, but let's take the better low there and just get an idea on what's shaking in here, right? So as far as patterns are concerned, you're painting yourself a bit. It's almost an ascending triangle. If this were a little bit straighter, you know, if it had a nice horizontal top, then you'd be saying, okay, an ascending triangle. Now, with the body top, horizontal support resistance on these three zones, we could call that the pattern, and that's okay. It's completely allowable. Right, so we could do something similar to this, and we bring this down here, and then we say, all right, that's our pattern. So if you're playing the pattern, here's what you need to remember. You need a breakout from the top of that horizontal. You have to break out, close above it, trade a little bit, retest it, and then it's off to the races. So let's say we saw a pullback to the 618. Let's say after that 618, we got back our 100%, right? We're back to the top, which is cool. So let's say we just sort of creep past the top. You know, you want something that's going to at least be a higher high wick-wise, you know, trading. I would not be super thrilled about this because you would have to have a little bit of patience for a retest. Okay? And then from the retest, you can start setting targets for something like that. All right? Now, again, that move here, right, this 43% move just on this small leg is is nothing to scoff at. That's a big move. So knowing you could do a big move like that, you could set targets like with an ABCD and do something similar like this, right? So you got your A, your B, right? And let's say you target down 618, and then you'd be looking like a 1-4, give or take. So 1-4. So let's just say that, you know, that actually lines up pretty close. So this could be the reason why you blast off past that. You make your new higher high. Now you come back for the retest, and then from the retest you're out of here. You know, whatever they're saying these days. Bob's your uncle. Komodo charts BTC. Okay, all right. Ja, I gotcha. How is the app reading for trading room? All right, so I tried. It should definitely be refreshed by now. Yes, okay. I wanted to look at daily percent gains, but all right. So you want to see KMD? So let me just sort it by name. If the computer, well, I'll just do it once and go backwards. HIJK KMMD BTC. All right, so here's what we're looking at. Short time frames, 5 minute, 15 minute sideways with a slightly bearish tone. All other time frames are sideways, slightly bullish tone. So, and to put that into perspective, right, you can see that back on the chart. So you'll see like what we're looking at right here. So if you were to pull up the 5 or the 15 chart, you're going to see this big sell-off, which is what's causing that trend. Or at least what's causing the colors to show you that. So, you know, trend-wise, sideways with a bearish tone on the shorter time frames is good, right? If you're looking for pullbacks. So if we're looking for a pullback, which is what we're currently seeing now, to be a little bit more bullish about this, I would like to see these start turning dark green. And chances are, you know, we'll see like the 1 hour and the 4 hour start going dark green first, and that'll start converting the 6 to 12 and the daily, so on and so forth. So if you have that in the back of your head, you know, throw that on your watch list, and when you start seeing these things start going dark green, you know what I mean? And you want these for like a good pullback, right? You want these to already start going dark, right? Dark pink. But you could see we're already on the chart. We're looking at, you know, I would say, all right, if I'm seeing this right here, I might throw it on my watch list as something to play off of. But I already pulled KMD because of the price action, right? So you don't see it on the 1 day, or at least not on today, but a week ago, I was seeing larger gains, 25% gains. Now, again, that last one here was 43% gains, but you throw on the D7, you're going to see that. All right, so I hope that helps. Joe, thanks. Yeah, absolutely, Joe. 100% Pundy. Good old Pundy. And PXS. I guess BTC pairs, is that cool? Just let me know if it's not. One thing I will say about trading Pundy, with the BTC pairing, it's not ideal. And actually, that being said, I'm gonna go on to the ETH pair, and the reason for, like, look at the chart, right? I mean, what can you do with this? Right? You can't do anything with this. So I think I made the analogy on stream once before, but it's like oh man, I already forgot it. But whatever. Let's say like a picture quality and resolution. So the distance between these candles, you're going sat by sat. So there's not a lot of room in between. You don't have 14.5 sats, and you don't have 14.1 sats before you get to 15. You just have 14 and 15. Now look at this chart, and then look at the ETH chart. Oh boy, if I spelt it right, that would have been fine. Now with Ethereum, right, you have way more resolution, where the move between this candle from open to close, you can see 5%, but you can see we've moved, right, from a high of 615 to a low of 563. You got far more resolution, which means you have way more buying and selling opportunities to get rid of your trade or to get an entry into your trade. All right, so Pundy. We were looking at Pundy, I guess, a while ago. We liked this range, which didn't range very long for a drop down. So you got a V bottom and right back into range. So I'm actually glad we had this on here because all of this makes sense. We're cool with that. We did find weird support here, so I wanted, yeah, okay, that goes way back. All right, so this area here is lending a hand to that current trade. What do we got? We need, yeah, see, it's just not a lot of history, which is a shame. So we sort of put in here as the whole chart is kind of just sideways with this large dip out of the larger channel and then back in. Now, what I was just talking about, horizontal support and resistance when you do a breakout and a retest, it seems scary because it seems like you're going to miss the trade, but this is a perfect example right here. You had a massive 19% move up. You broke through historical support resistance, right? It was resistance. You closed above, and the very next day, what did you do? You came back down, you retested it, and then it's off the charts from there, okay? So that's good stuff. It's healthy. It's healthy to see that. If you don't see that, you always have in the back of your head, you know, when are we going to retest it? When are we going to retest it? And you don't want to be in the trade when that happens. So what do we have? We got a bit of a W here. So you got a W pattern. Now this is a bit lower. So if we have, let's see what kind of retracement we have. Let's see, I don't want to go all the way to the bottom. I just want to take just this move here, right? So from that swing low to this move, I want to see what we got. And we are looking at, 786. That's deep. It's deep, but it held, and it held twice. All right, so double bottom on the daily chart, on the local trend, going back for we'll call it 3 weeks of trading, give or take. All right, now you're already in an uptrend, right? So you're in a local uptrend from that V bottom. So you can certainly put some type of trends on here and get an idea on what's shaking. Let's take this body. This looks a little bit more respected, and it's very much respected over here. And with trends, listen, I went down every trend possibility, and you have to find what works. And the way I've taught it in the past was it should be obvious, right? I mean, that just makes sense. So you're gonna break some rules every now and then. You're gonna smash through a wick. But if that's the obvious trend, then that's what I go with. So this to me is the obvious trend. It looks like it is working. So I'm going to keep that. And I'm okay with that. Now this is also a little concerning here. Right? This is another failure. Right? So you started out low, right? You got a high, and then you made a higher low, and you made another higher high. And then a higher low, a higher high, higher low, and then, ooh, what happened here? You failed. Right, so once you fail, at least for me, I'll do something like that. Because now I broke trend, right? And that was the candle that broke the trend. That's the failure candle. So now I say, okay, well, this is an area of interest. When we start getting closer to there, now I have another thing I have to look for, and now I have to look for a break out of it with some sort of momentum, some kind of significance. And if it's significant enough, then I expect a retest and then further movement up. Now, if it continues to fail, I'm looking at this as a resistance line. So when we get closer and closer to it, if we start failing here, I won't be too surprised, but I certainly won't be putting buy orders in here because I don't want to buy into resistance. That should make sense. And then, of course, we just talked about the double bottom. So a new line of horizontal, local support. You know, so if we are to lose the trend, right, and that's another trade right here. So if you lose, you know, and sorry, you can't short Pundy, but if you were to do something like this and lose the trend line, I would expect a retest, and then I would expect further downside. Okay? Now that'll help you if you're long, you know, and you don't know when to get out and you're holding on. And let's say you bought down here. That would be an indication for me to maybe get out of the trade, or at least put some consideration into having a stop, you know, at your latest swing high in order to get out if it does go too far. It could always just dip down, which is like a nice stop out or a little stop hunt, and then, you know, you go right to the stars from there. So you have to keep that in the back of your head. There's so many different ways it could go. Yeah, I try to look for whatever has the highest probability of doing, and breaking trends and playing breakouts. Those are all those are higher probability trades. Let me scroll back over here. So Pundy, yep, we're good. 100%. Thanks, great stuff. All right, cool. I was looking at Enigma, ENG versus KMD for swing play. Enigma shows head and shoulders on RSI weekly. Well, let's scope out good old Enigma. Are you? I guess BTC. Is that what you're doing? We'll check it out. And you're talking 1 week, huh? And RSI. Why my RSI is gone? Was it on this chart? It was on this chart. It was on one of these charts, and now it has since disappeared. It's got me a little concerned. We're gonna let that load in the background for a minute. I guess it wasn't on this one. This is my patterns template, so it wouldn't be on that one. And I don't know what is going on this one. Nothing good, obviously. KMD's trying to load. This is the 4-banger. Let's take a look at this real quick, because I did this when I first hopped on, but there's a couple more heads in here now, so we'll run through it if it loads, which it doesn't want to, so we're not going to do that. All right, so you're looking at RSI, so let's throw RSI on here. We're still not sure why it's not, because it's not on this chart. That's why. What can I put on? Let me throw it on this puppy. Yeah, that's fine. All right, let's add it. Let's see what the RSI looks like. What do we got? Hop into our indicators. Do our standard. Don't need anything fancy here. It's all fine. I'm gonna stick with the colors for now and the settings for now in order to just get an easier look. All right, so you're talking head and shoulders on the weekly, huh? Well, I see this guy, but that failed. That head's not high enough to be a head and shoulder. Is this what you're talking about? This right here, starting left shoulder, December 23rd. Because I don't think the head is going to be big enough. Let's see. I mean, Matt, like technically speaking, oof. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, it's technically larger than the left shoulder. But, you know, that being said. So let's see. We failed down at the 30. Never came back up. And I have now been sideways, working our way back up to the 30. Yes, BTC. I use BitTrack's more charting history. Okay, so let's do that. Why do I have... What do I have? ENG. Alright, BTC. Trex, right? Yeah, alright. Bitcoin. Trex. Let's take a look. Alright. Oh, well. It's a little uglier. But that's okay. Sort of got a bit of a reverse head and shoulders. If we wanted to play that game, we could do that. The left shoulder, the double head, and the right shoulder. What else we got? Yeah, this is all not much shaking over here. It's just choppy. You know, if you're in the zone, which is good. Let's put our 50 line up. Let's see what's happening here. So just based off of, let's see, 50 action. So center line or midline, whatever you like to call it. Yeah, you had some areas that were decent, but for the most part, there's nothing significant that I would say. You do have your high, and then you have a lower high, but that's sort of matching over here. You got your high and a lower high, so nothing as far as divergence there. You got your low, you got a higher low, you got a low and a higher low, so no divergence to look at, and nothing spectacular. You're just sort of chopping around that center line. You did break through in this point here, but ENG, see, now this is a solid move right here, so you can almost like forget about that. Let's take a look at this. I'm going to pull this out. I'm going to do something similar to this, and I'm going to say that this guy is my range, right? And that's just based off sideways action, right? That's a visual thing for me, so I think it is for most people. Just visually see a range or an area that seems to just ping pong back and forth, and I'll call that my range for now before I start going, too far. If you can't see the candles, just tell me, and I'll fix them. This particular template is not. I don't really stream on this template, but I was looking for the RSI. Let's see. That's a day chart or weekly. Oh yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah, I screwed that one up. You did say weekly. Let me put the weekly up so we can properly look at it. There's not much on the RSI at all for the weekly. So let's get a closer look here. All right. Yep. Yeah, I see it. You got your left shoulder, you got the head, you got your right shoulder. So that's good. Let's see, so the left shoulder break with neckline. Alright, this would put you right in the ballpark. So yeah, so you're saying just broke the neckline on it for RSI. Okay, I'm with you. But I did see something interesting, so I am going to go back to the daily. If you don't mind, we'll scope it out while we're here. And let me make this a little bit smaller because I like to have more real estate. You know what I mean? So I would be looking at coming out of range. Right? So range is cool. This move didn't take us out of range, but the total move, see, from the bottom swing low to our current top. It's a 33% move. I'm going to swing this down to that previous high and 25%. So I'm going to take this guy. I'm going to say, all right, what kind of pullback did we just get there? All right, that's come on, computer. You can do what you need to do. If you do it, there you go. All right, so a pullback to the 382 only, right? So very shallow retrace. Nothing too exciting on that. I would like to see something a little bit deeper, but that's okay. Let's take the whole move, and let's see what we're working with right now. We'll take something like this. So from the bottom of this move, right, this one impulse, and let's see, currently we're hanging out at the 236. So now the last retrace was 382. So if we take it to the bottom of just that one move, then we get an idea of what we're doing just on this move here. Let's see what we got. So now that with the move, so with the retrace after stabbing the top, I mean just in that one day it went down to just about the 786, probably closer to 7.5 in the 7.5 zone. So I want to see us out of range, or at least for this local range. I would like to see us come up, close, over range, right? And then maybe retest that range area, probably similar to this ballpark here as an area of resistance, 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 traded through it here, and then resistance right here on the current local move. So I'd like to see that happen first before I made any major plays, but I would have to go back in history and see what other kind of price action we had going on here. But overall, this is trending down. We do know that, so you could play that trend breakout, which is kind of what we just saw. So as far as trend breakout is concerned, if you had something similar to that, and this little puppy over here. Okay, so again, like we just talked about, right? You broke through and then a retest. So same deal, you know, nothing new here. If you were playing the trend breakout, you would have had this line drawn here. You would have seen the big move come up, and you would have put your buy orders in somewhere around the retest area, and then you would have made those profits right there. Let's see. Yes, waiting on a retest if it holds. Awesome. RSI level, very good job. Very cool, man. That's what we like to see. Active traders making good trading decisions. All right, let's see. To this thing. Hopefully, my computer is it's not a happy camper right now. So it's when I pull things up like this and I try to swing off of a chart, it takes too long. You know, when you're home and you're by yourself and you're charting, it's fine. But you know, once you press OBS to start streaming, it's over. All right, so this is cool. So in the last 24 hours of trading, 46 million market cap, but 2,100 BTC on volume. LRC ETH is showing 5-minute pullback. Daily 12 and the 6 are sideways with a bullish tone. Now the 4 hours, something interesting is happening there. So either we are converting all of these to an uptrend, and the 4 is still holding us back, or this particular trend over here is working its way the other way. I'm going to look at this LRC ETH. Let's take a look. See what we got. LRC ETH. Let's see what we're looking at. I'm on the weekly chart now, so let me throw that on the daily. I can see on the weekly right now we're definitely in a downtrend. That's pretty obvious. All right, daily chart showing. Yeah, I mean it's sideways, right, for sure. Sideways with a bit of a bullish tone. So we do have, we do have our low, and then our high that broke, previous structure high, and let's see, these were all step down, so no big deal here. The structure low is where we're currently at trading. So you can throw this on just to get ballpark idea on what's shaking. Overall, at least what we're looking at. For now, I'm going to do this, and I'll throw one more on just for the, well, I don't even have to worry about that. I'm cool with that. I will do this, though. I will do that. Okay, so now we have, there it is. I looked for it before and it was gone. Well, now it's back. All right, so let's see. We came downtrend. We had a low. We came back. We made a high. Then we made a lower low. So that trend didn't work out so good. But then we made a lower high. So now we're downtrending. Another lower low. And then, boom, we failed right here. So now downtrend, local downtrend has decided to revert course. Ja, if you're still in here, you seem to be an RSI guy. This would have been a solid move, no? You know, a little breakdown on 30, come back, interest is up, you buy, you ride that up to the next wave, you swing it down, and then you exit the trade. So very easy OBOS trade right there, or OSOB in this case. But anyway, this is what we're looking at. So this is a pretty massive retracement. What is this candle right here? So 13% just on that candle, but the overall move was a bit of a monster, right? Let's see. Oh, that's a terrible. So we'll have to. I'm going to cut this short because I didn't quite get the bottom there. 51. So we'll call it 50. So 50% move right here. That is pretty massive. I want to see the larger scale picture. I want to see what we're looking at. Do something like this ish. And let's see what we got. So from the high, we have come down. We leveled out on the 618 fairly nicely, sideways, but then we lost it. And old school, let's see, old school support resistance didn't really do much. Broke through it, went sideways again. We stabbed down through the 786. We found support on our previous structure low. Came back up, tapped the 618. Look at that. Look at this. Look at that move right there. Right, so tapped the 618, lost it again. So it's a bit choppy. I ain't gonna lie. This is pretty choppy. You can't even get a good pattern out of this. Look for like an advanced ABCD, but not with this. That's too low. If it hung out by the 618, we'd be talking, but right now, yeah, not so much. Now this move is big; it's a big move, but man, did we lose a whole bunch real quick. So I'm gonna zoom in here. I want to see what happened. What was this all about? So, you know, when you see a big wick like that, at least what I do is I zoom in. I try to find out like what kind of legitimate trading was that. You know, was it a fat finger, or was it like a stop hunt? So now I'm zoomed in on the hourly, right, and I still have a big giant wick. Let me do the 30-minute. Whoa, 30-month. That's fine too. Let's do the 30-minute. Still have the wick. Let's do the 5. Okay, so it's not on the 5, so let's do the 15. All right, so inside of 15 minutes, let's see, we had a high 49,402 with a low of 33,5506. That's ridiculous. All right, so that's when you do this and you do this and you say, okay, what happened here? So that candle alone traveled 47% in a 15-minute period. So I'm not going to call it a fat finger because it wasn't on the 5, but I am certainly not impressed with that move anymore. Sorry. So I would trade by ignoring it. I know that it's there, but like I was just saying before about trend lines, I would smash right through that because that trading, that's not doing anything for me. So I would do something like that. You know what I'm saying? If it's relevant in the past, then maybe it did stop at a good level. But that could have just been some buying. A couple buy orders came in back at old lower levels, structure lows, and maybe they just got hit. Maybe someone put the dialed in the wrong trade. But yeah, I mean, when you can only see it on the 15 and up, then I start to think differently about that. And in that case, then this wouldn't be too bad. We still lost to 618. Didn't quite make the 786, so I wouldn't be making any moves on this right now. I'm not super thrilled with what I see. This was a good move. If you're playing RSI, that was a good move. Okay, but from here we are not looking terrific. You have your high, your other high, your low. So not Not super great. All right. I hope that helped. If it did, cool. If not, my apologies. All right. Let's take a look at one more chart, and then I have to get back to work because that's what I do. Lots of work. All right, what do we got here? MCOE 33 with a 14, 32 up in the last 24 hours, 14% retracement. So nothing yet. You know, that's not enough. I need to start seeing 25s and 30s. So if I could try to catch the 382 or at least pull at the chart, but let's at least examine the trend here, right? So strong uptrend, 515 looks like it's trying to take over the trend sideways with bearish tone on from the 4 to the daily. So this is good right here. I mean, this is like a 4-buy setup. What should happen if trend continues on the lower time frames is we'd be pushing, another green on the 30, a dark green on the 30, start converting the 4, out of light pink into light green, and then you got my attention, right? And then you certainly got my attention. So, this is on the back burner for now. I'd like to see a little bit more of a retracement, but you're not going to see that if we're bullish in the 5 and the 15. So not too much to look at right here. It is pretty low. I mean, 33 million market cap is low. Those are always a little suspect to trade anyway. APPC ETH daily is sideways now. 4 and a 6 are going bullish. Little sideways on the 5. All right, so a bit of a pullback here, but 32 up with 37 down. So now you're basically at the 382. Now I don't like trading these. This is some really good volume though. So let's pull it up. This will be the last one for now. APPC ETH. Let's see what we got. All right, we are on the daily chart. That's obviously the big candle, right? So 29% move. What do we have here? A little bit of a cup, little baby handle. We can play with a cup and a baby handle. So again, with this giant wick, let me take something that's a little bit more reasonable here. Even though we got that wick up too, but let's see. For the initial handle would have been a 5, in between 382 and a 5, which is okay. Let's see if we brought it down to a reasonable cup and handle. Now what are we looking at? So move comes up. Let's say this top side left cup. So right side left cup was realized right here. A retrace down to the 236. Then up, lost it again for a lower low. Up, lost it again for another lower low. So a little bit of choppy zigzag trading over here. Now the overall move from where we're currently at. Let me get that down to that guy. Overall move from where we're currently at was a perfect touchdown on the 236. That's where we found support. The bigger move would still be yet to come. This is concerning though. This little tiny ABCD. Right? I'm not sure I love that this little impulse move was here. So you had this garbage, which is not good. Let's see about this right here. As far as these tops, right, they line up. Yeah. I mean, it's okay. It's okay. It's not great. I like this move a lot. I like that move a lot. And again, if we're talking RSI, right, so you just barely grazed it. This is your swing. Right, so that's your high. And that is not a swing failure, right? So that's going in the right direction. So you crossed over the 70 line the first time. And when you crossed over the second time, right, you made a new higher high. So as far as RSI is concerned, right, this is a happy move right here for sure. Okay, so keep that in the back of your head. That's good. There's even though we're in that territory, it doesn't mean there's not more room to go here. So that's something to consider. If we were just to play this move, just that one impulse, or just this one larger move, we'd be looking at a pullback between the 382 and the 618. Let's see, crushed the 236. Didn't quite hit the 382 yet. Daily time frame, so there's still plenty of time to go. This was, again, another... Let's see what historically this particular pair likes to do. Just on this in-trend move, if we call that in-trend, the pullback after the high, it retraced to the 5. Right, in between the 5 and the 618. All right, so I would do that if I was going to trade this. I would do that 10 more times across the board, just to get an idea on what does this coin typically retrace to after a 20 or 25% move, and then I would have a better idea on where my targets would be set at. I would like to see this. Okay, so that's cool. That's how I got rid of it. That's like I said, man. The mouse don't work properly when when I stream, so I must have clicked it twice and then I got rid of it. So there's that. Okay, so see, I didn't mean to do that. There you go. All right, symmetrical triangles. Symmetrical triangles are cool. I do like them. This is a pretty large one for sure. Range. So range trading inside the symmetrical triangle is always preferred if you have 2 touches, right? 2 touches to the upside, right? 2 touches to the downside, and that we have, right? So now we're looking for a breakout in between the 50 and the 75 mark. Let's call this about 50, give or take. I'm just visual here, right? So we'll call this 50, we'll call 75, somewhere in this ballpark, and of course the apex is 100. So this is actually really cool. If you're a breakout player, like we just talked about on, what was that, KMD? No, Enigma. If you're a breakout player, trader, kind of guy, you'd be looking for something like this, right? This is really good. You broke out, you closed above on the daily, and then you retest it instantly. I would like to see this, go a little higher. It's not a significant breakout. You like to see breakout with some type of conviction. That is like it just accidentally broke out, and that's not great. Ballpark, something like this. But again, this particular coin is very low market cap, so we can see this. You see that giant wick that just makes absolutely no sense? You'll see that, and another giant wick that makes no sense. So you just have to be careful when you're trading these pairs. Your stops may not get hit. For every buyer needs a seller, every seller needs a buyer. You can only say that. You can only say that so many times, but it is true. So keep that in mind. You got a nice inverted head and shoulders here. So left shoulder, swung down head, right shoulder, neckline, right, with the breakout. All right, so that's actually pretty good too. So look for confluence in what you're trading. Let's ignore the wick for now, and let's say that this moved to the breakout of the neckline. Now this is just visual, so bear with me here, but that would have been right here. So you'd be looking at 63%, and let's say we brought that up to close to the right zone. Yes. So you'd be looking at 39 up like that, which is certainly enough to get out of the symmetrical triangle. This would be a really good play. Keep your eyes on that. All right, so there should be further upside if that was the case. Now, of course, you have this to contend with, and this to contend with as you trade higher, right? Previous structure highs. This is a double top structure high. This is a swing high that brought you your local downtrend. It's also the B of an ABCD. So if we were to do this little thingamabob like that, and something like that. No, that's too much. 1, 2, 1, 2, ballpark, like that. Okay, so that'll give you an idea of targets for that move on top of the inverted head and shoulder breakout from the neckline and breaking out from the symmetrical triangle with a retest. So lots of things happening on AppCoins, which is all good stuff. All good stuff. And I look over and I see in the comments, good stuff. Let's see, let's see. 10 to play RSI, good video. It's laid out here on the East Coast. I hear you. I am in Central Coast. Central is not a coast. I'm in Central Time Zone. And it's 1:30 in the morning. I am going to get back to work. So I'll kill this video for now.